Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins,
I'm Paul Hankins.
I'm Trevor
and
Hankins.
you're on the air with Power Squared. We have a couple of guests tonight, I guess. Steve Price, who is the creator of Monster Matador, and John Barber, the editor in chief at Pug W. We're going to be discussing, we're doing a panel on October 6th at LA Comic Con called Under the Radar. John will be moderating. Steve will be one of the guests, as will we. We thought it'd be nice to sort of have a kind of get to know each other before we're thrust into the public view. So I met Steven at San Diego Comic Con, where you were tabling.
Yep.
How did that go?
It went really well. It's that was my second year in the small press area, and it's a really good show. It's really got a really great response to the book. So
Good. So you want to tell us something about what Monster Matador?
sure, Monster Matador is a post-apocalyptic kaiju throwdown about a matador that fights monsters to make a better world for his daughter. It is literally a matador that fights kaiju with a sword and cape. That's part of the fun, is seeing how he defeats them. We're currently running our ninth Kickstarter for our latest. It's Monster Matador: Once Upon Some Monsters in Mexico, and it's the fourth issue and the final issue of the series. We have a variant cover by Jose Ladrone, who is known for his work on Cable and with Alejandro Jodorowsky on Final Ink and Sons of El Topo. We just were awarded an award, a finalist for Best Graphic Novel from the International Latino Book Awards.
Oh, congratulations.
We'll find out if we're gold, silver, or bronze on October 19th. And
And the
and
Kickstarter.
I do the book with an artist, Fabio Alves, and Alex Zeef is the colorist.
Okay. Have they been
So
your artists and colorists the whole time?
yeah, we've been doing it since 2020. We had the book done when the pandemic hit, and we were going to go to publishers, and we decided maybe we decided to go the Kickstarter route, not really knowing what was going to happen. And we've been doing it ever since. And prior to that, I actually wrote and drew 12 black and white issues of the book. I am nowhere near the artist that Fabio is. I did it for fun as an exercise, but what happened was I had kids, so it was just something I kept doing and doing and doing
Yeah.
until I had the time to actually do what we're doing now. So
Right.
yep.
If you're not familiar with Power Squared, we've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
We're publishing our 26th,
Yeah.
Wow.
24th, 26th this year. I lose count. Um,
I'm
and
working on 20.
so we're working on 26, so we're doing 23, 24,
Yeah.
23. 23 is coming out in December. Uh, this is our first. It's the story about identical twin brothers who discover they are sharing superpowers that were granted them when they were younger by a magical Kasune. And so we've been doing it for I don't know, like 7 years. We've been publishing, I guess, or whatever. And this is our first, I will say, major convention of it. WonderCon and Comic Con in New York would be bigger, but this is our first real. We did one really tiny convention several years ago,
Yeah.
and we were going to do more, but then the pandemic kind of threw us off, and we just finally you have to get approved to get tables and stuff, so it wasn't just walking in. So we're looking forward to actually being with other people that might be interested in the book.
Yes.
And John, you've done some publishing before.
Yeah, Okay, so I'm currently, like I said, I'm the editor in chief at a company called Pug W. That we're kind of a young small company. We're doing some Marvel 3D comics, like the 3D versions of old Marvel comics. So, like we've got Mutants 98, just in time for the Deadpool movie, somewhere on a boat between here and between China and here, or between Korea and here. I'm sorry, I think that was I was thinking of a different book. We have a Conan big art book that's likewise currently on a boat. I think our designer actually just got a copy today and live streamed opening it up. I used to write Transformers for a long time, and I also used to self-publish my comics and do web comics and have tables at San Diego Comic-Con and stuff as well. So this is definitely where I thrive. This is where I like, this is the stuff I like. And I've got a comic we kickstarted, and we'll anybody that's wondering where their copy is, it's coming soon. Almost there. Just had to get a couple things fixed, but should be at press by next week.
Okay.
Embarrassing that it isn't already, and apologies for that. But with Andrew Griffith that I used to work with on Transformers, called Cigna. And we'll be launching the rest of the Cigna series early next year.
You want to tell us people what Cigna is about?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's up to you.
I don't know if you've seen that. Here's for everybody a live stream. Here's a super high tech method of getting this cover out. You might recognize that one.
Yeah.
It's going to be number 2 actually, but
okay. I remember number 1, but
what?
I backed the Kickstarter. So.
Oh yeah. No,
I understand that reference.
You can have the postcard. But it's several hundred years in the future, 100 years after a war with renegade mining robots somehow turned the sun into a red giant, and the last remnants of humanity are kind of struggling to survive. And a young woman named Ketna Vora finds a sentient robot called Cigna, and Cigna might have the key to saving the solar system, but saving it for who is the question. We're pretty excited about it. Still plowing away on it.
I forgot to mention our story is pre-apocalyptic, so
there you go. If the apocalypse happens, will that be reflected in your comic, or will you just keep going?
Well, if the apocalypse comes, I don't know if we'll be really worried about publishing it. We'll be a remnant of the past.
I guess we cross that bridge when we get.
Yeah. I'm hoping to do a Kickstarter next year, but you guys can feel free to back. But we've done 2, basically the same. We did one for ourselves when we put together the first trade of the first 5 issues, and then one of the printers, artithmeric.com, where you can buy our books, as well as on Indie Planet. They wanted to do a Kickstarter to try to raise some money to do something over like in France, get it translated into French. And so we did one with them, the same 5 issues. But we actually we went in and sort of rewrote some of the dialogue and stuff to try to, we didn't redo the artwork, but we did some of the dialogues and descriptions or whatever. So it was a little more better, I guess. a little more better. And so we've done 2, and then I don't think they raised enough money off theirs to actually do the translations or whatever.
No.
And the other people they did it with, I don't think they ever did the translations for them either. So I don't know what happened with that plan. But they were trying to tap into, I guess there's a large graphic novel kind of in Belgium and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Trying to
Europe
cash into
has
that.
a big comic scene.
Oh
Yeah, and they have a huge, obviously I assume it's one of the largest in the Western world comic book convention in France.
Yeah.
It takes over this whole little town apparently.
Yep.
So
Angoulême, yeah.
yeah,
I've never been there.
I haven't. Obviously, we haven't either. But and we're actually we got involved sort of through the back door, I guess, for Neurodiversity Comic Con,
Yeah.
which is something happening in New York in November. Moni Barrett recommended us to the people that were starting the convention up, and we could not, it's not feasible for us to fly there and be a part of it, but we did donate a couple of volumes, a couple of the trades, and we're actually listed as a sponsor. Like, it's Archie Comics, Power Squared, Scholastic, so,
awesome.
something feel very, very influential. But anyway, so we're hoping again that we can get some eyes on the book at the convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anything? What? I'll ask that. What made you start doing a comic book, Steve?
I've been doing them probably all my life in some shape or form. In high school and college, I used to make like zines, things like that. And then I kind of fell out of it for a while. I was in the toy industry for a bit, in product development and marketing, and I developed toy lines for retail and animation. And then the toy company wound up going out of business when I had this show that was going into production, and so which it happens.
Yeah.
But I basically had I had time on my hands, and I just started doing comics just for fun. I did a web comic called Unemployant about an ant that loses his job. And I think I did close to like 200 of those, and I just kept drawing, and I had the Monster Matador idea, and this was probably in like 2013 or so, 2014, and things have changed so much in the past 10 years. We're finding artists, and now Kickstarter, crowdfunding. There's so many different avenues for creating comics, but back then it was still kind of just a different time, and I just started drawing the comic just for fun, and I think I put it on Comixology Submit, but here in LA there was a shop called Meltdown Comics for a while.
Yeah.
And they used to run like workshops and things like that, so I met a lot of creators through that. People like Ryland Grant, who's does a lot of Kickstarter books. He's a screenwriter, just had a movie come out today. Carla Nappi, but I kind of got into the whole kind of like a little Southern California comic scene, and met a lot of creators, and through that I met Fabio, who draws Monster Matador, through Ryland, and once I was kind of ready to do that, we just kind of went full into it. So it was kind of like a long journey, I guess, but like I said before, I had kids in the middle of it, so it kind of
Kids change everything. I know.
Yeah, in my mind, nothing was going to change, and then like it kind of does. So it was kind of a few years where I really just did nothing, and then sort of got back into it again, and then of course the pandemic happened, and
Yes.
But Kickstarter was great because it gave us an outlet to actually get the book out there at a time when everyone was indoors. We were able to build an audience, and we've been going strong since then. So since like 2020.
Yeah, we had the idea 1 year after attending Comic-Con, and we kind of worked up an idea. We had no experience doing a comic book ever before, so that was a lot of learning and missing opportunities and things like that along the way. And we tried to find an artist. There's a program at Comic-Con called Comic Creator Connect.
Yep.
And we did that 3 years, and it's like speed dating, and so we never ended up with a date at the end. And ended up there was an artist that I've even forgotten his name, that we were interested in hiring. And I noticed that he was part of some group on Facebook, so I decided to just try that group on Facebook. We found our first artist that way, and we did 5 issues with him. And decided it was time to move on to somebody else, and we found Rachel Wells, who did 6 through 23 for us.
Oh.
And she left last year to pursue other illustration work, and then we switched over to the woman that was doing the coloring wanted to be the artist, so we gave her a shot. She did 4 issues, and now we're moving on to. She decided she really couldn't handle it, so we're moving on to another colorist turned artist, Jen Moreno, and she's doing the next issue for us. So
Yeah.
we'll get that done this year, and so that would be for 2026, I guess. So yeah, so it's been. We've gone through. I always felt like we were breaking colorists somehow because we had one who did. We actually Chip Mosier at Comixology at the time helped us find a new colorist. He didn't like the one we had originally, and so we went to. He teamed us up with some people at SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design, and we ended up hiring. Someone that was a friend of the person that we were interviewing who wanted to do it, so we gave it to her, and then they did it for 2 issues, and then somebody they knew took it over, and she helped us decide that we needed a new artist, and so she helped us find somebody through SCAD, which is where we found Rachel, and then we found the colorist also there, and the colorist moved on after I think issue 17, so we hired Julia Cannon to be the colorist, and then she became the artist, and now she's back to being the colorist again. So, that's how it works. You have to like it's part of it is I'll say it low budget, or it's out of it all comes out of my pocket, so
Right.
So you have to be reasonably priced, and you have to work with people that are kind of reasonably priced, so it's kind of and I really liked. I was sorry it didn't kind of work out with Julie because I really liked her, and she did some chibi drawings that we made into T-shirts that we'll be selling at the con or through. You can order them at the con and get 15% off, but I'm not bringing a bunch of T-shirts to the convention. That would bankrupt me. So I figured out a way of we could sell them through there, and you get a discount if you buy it. But I don't want to have, well, what size are you? We're not a T-shirt shop, so
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I definitely. I somewhere I must still have T-shirts from circa 1999. I'm trying to think. Like, 'cause I did what you said you shouldn't do and printed up a bunch of T-shirts. Like, that was a bad idea. Well, your plan is much better.
let's hope. But
Yeah. I guess I'm kind of thankful I don't know where they are, but like somewhere in my dad's attic or something, there's like going to be a box of gilded shirts.
I was thinking it's probably not a big deal for someone like Mega 64 to have a bunch of shirts at Comic-Con because they're based in San Diego.
Yeah.
But we're just trying to do as much as we can. We're going to be part of Don Wynn has a floor tour he does where you go to different booths. We'll be a part of that.
Yeah, that's great. That always gets people to the table.
Yeah. And so this is all kind of we've never done anything this big before, and we're hoping that I tried to sign up for WonderCon and Comic-Con, and I was supposedly on the short list at WonderCon, and then they contacted me like about a month before Comic-Con and said, "Hey, there's an opening. Would you want it?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not ready to do that." If I had a little more, running start maybe, but I wasn't, flat-footed a month ahead. It wasn't enough. So I've been approached by WonderCon to sign up again. So we'll see if maybe we get that. But we were, part of it's just missing out or not, whatever. We've tried before. We did a panel at LA Comic-Con a couple of years ago. I'll say the same panel, Under the Radar, which we were there, and we had somebody from Delegates, and Don Wynn was also on it, doing his gorilla,
Pablo the Gorilla.
Pablo the gorilla.
Pablo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pablo. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was there talking about that. So basically, the idea is just to, talk about what may just, and John will be moderator, so he'll be asking all the questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you bet.
Yeah.
So I've got
You seem disinterested, so.
no, I've got. So I was like looking at Pablo the Gorilla. That was literally what I was typing in.
Oh.
I'm like, let's check that out. And I've also the other thing I've been looking at is I've been looking at the Monster Matador Kickstarter. And I'm like, oh, okay, which one do I get?
Yeah.
I've been, like while you were talking, I was sitting there like, okay, I think I want the ketchup TPB one, right? Is that the one I want to order? Yeah, okay.
I'll throw in some extras for you.
No, don't worry. No, that's the drone cover looks.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's cool.
I mean, like all of the art looks really nice, but like the
Yeah.
drone, that's cool. But yeah. I'll be asking insightful questions like that.
Yeah.
Hey, that cover looks nice. What should I buy? No, I'm excited to do it. I mean, I've never been to the LA Comic-Con, so I'm excited to see that and get up there and.
It's I'll say smaller than WonderCon. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's a little more. I mean, because we went through it the time we had the panel, and it was, it's kind of a little, I don't know.
Yeah.
A little small, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be big for us, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The artist alley is a nice mix of like local creators and like
I just remember that one time we were there. There was some big display for some food for the poor, and there was other displays like sign up for the school and stuff like that. It was
Right.
We were like, okay, this isn't quite the comic book thing I was thinking. But
they used to have a wrestling ring in the middle.
yeah, okay, so,
Like the women wrestlers, which was nuts because you're like literally trying to sell books and it's like boom, you're just hearing like
we went
Wrestling
by,
noises.
it was chaotic. Yeah, it was
we went by
pretty
to see
chaotic.
somebody who had a booth. It was near the main stage, and all you could hear was the main stage going.
Oh, we're trying to see the X-Men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was really, so it's a little different, but I'm hoping that it's a good starter for us to kind of get our feet really wet, with hopefully not sinking.
No, it's a good show. That's a good show to get your feet wet. I know that was one of the first shows I did, and what's great about doing a show like this is that you can work on your pitch, and you kind of get a feel for doing cons, because like San Diego is intense.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't just jump into something like San Diego and be like, hey, that's gonna be my first show.
Yeah.
Because it's overwhelming and it's a madhouse. And WonderCon, that show's been really quiet,
Yeah.
because of how they set it up, and it's been really hit or miss
Yeah.
for people.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know, but I don't know. But LA is a good show. It's
When we went to, it was kind of, as I said, we were on the short list, but there were like empty booths at WonderCon.
a lot. Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was like, okay, could we just set up shop here and go?
Yeah.
Gorilla style.
Yeah. And it didn't help that it was raining really, that day too. But it seemed kind of like, and IDW had that really like nothing booth and stuff. Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really something.
That booth was sad. The one at Comic-Con was San Diego was better, but
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
WonderCon one was like, wow.
well,
Yeah, that was odd. Yeah, but also that there wasn't what do you call it? There wasn't Funko there, so
Yeah.
when you got over to where Funko used to be, it just stopped. Like it wasn't like you got to the wall or something, and there just was nothing beyond the row of
Yeah.
tables.
Which that's where was it Small Press or whatever is, and they just kind of expanded the space between.
Yeah.
It was like an ocean between like tables, like
Yeah.
on either side. So when you usually have traffic and it's tight, it's great because people are moving back and forth. Where here, like people were just kind of like what I heard. I tabled on the other side, but what I heard is people were just walking down the middle of the aisle and not really
Yeah.
hitting the tables because they were so far away. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll get their act together.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I generally liked WonderCon too. I was like,
Yeah.
I hope it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was like a
Yeah.
smaller, more comic focused San Diego, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But last year it was just sort of like, wow, this is
Yeah.
kind of dead. But again, I think the rain hurt it as well. I think it was just sort of, you kind of went in kind of.
Yeah,
Rain in California.
especially that show because it's such a cosplay show, and the whole cosplay scene is outside. You know, like the rain is like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that was like the worst thing that could happen. There was like worse there than it would be at a lot of cons.
So, do you have any advice for us since we've never done this before? Okay,
I mean,
no
yeah.
advice. All right.
Yeah. I just don't get demoralized or whatever. Because it is like sometimes you'll be there and it'll be like hours between a sale. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's a lot of ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm.
And really, like my attitude for tabling is, obviously I want to at least break even and make a little bit of money, but a lot of it too is what's great is that you'll make connections with other creators, behind the table. But also, like for me, I know like just doing those first shows helped me just work on my pitch and actually like selling the book and whatever, and really it gives you also a sense of what the audience is going to connect with, with your stuff.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to break even, honestly, because of
you never know.
The tables. Well, I don't think I have enough stuff to pay for the table. The table's pretty expensive.
What is it? It's like 400 or close to 400 now.
It's 700.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Are you in Artist Alley or
No, we're in small press.
Oh, the small press is 700.
Yeah.
Wow, that's more than San Diego.
Oh, I know, and it's more than
It's more than WonderCon too.
It's
I
more than
think.
WonderCon. Yeah, WonderCon would be 320. Yeah,
Wow.
well, we're trying to get our feet wet, and you gotta sometimes jump
Yeah.
in. And we're not really Artist Alley. We're not the artists, so we're not gonna let me sign that for you. We could write you a nice
I don't know.
letter.
Honestly, I was in Artist Alley at that show, and that show, there's a lot of writers in Artist Alley. There might be something to consider next time, especially just because of the disparity of the cost of the table.
Yeah.
Is so big. But yeah, at a lot of shows, people don't really differentiate. They're not going to be like, oh, you're a writer at Artist Alley. Like some shows like San Diego is Artist Alley is really Artist Alley.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But for LA Comic-Con, you'll notice that there's a bunch of writers in Artist Alley.
Even at San Diego, though, I was trying to think. No, I mean, definitely there's some writers.
Oh, yeah,
that
for
table
sure.
in
Yeah,
there.
there are.
Yeah,
It's
there
mostly
are.
artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well-
San Diego Artist Alley it's like you can't walk in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really like I think it's a little tougher unless you're doing commissions because that's where you're making your table there because the traffic flow is so like tight.
Yeah. Yeah. The traffic flow at San Diego's Artist Alley is like bonkers now. Like
It's
it is
nuts. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't walk. You can't walk through an aisle anymore.
Yeah. And I feel like it's really bad that it's right by like that one is right by the Funko booth. So you have all the traffic heading to Funko that has
Yeah. It's
no
Funko,
interest in
Mondo.
you,
It's
you
like
know?
that
Yeah.
whole corner is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's been a long time since I tabled a few years ago at a con, but it was I was like selling Transformers comics. It wasn't it wasn't the same. It's been a long time since that. But yeah, nobody would come by, and then I know the best advice I ever got was from Nick Bertozzi, which was don't spray paint the PVC piping indoors, which I'd already learned by that point because I spray painted the PVC piping indoors. It was a bad idea.
Okay, well, we're not going to take spray paint, so I guess.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, not at the con. I didn't do it at the con. I did it at my I did it at my girlfriend's apartment. So you do that. That sounds. It sounds like good. I mean, that sounds. Yeah. That's
Well, yeah, I'm hoping that we at least get people to sign up for the newsletter or something, out of the whole thing, because that's future hopeful, stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I have enough stuff to break, sell enough stuff to break even because I don't have the, I don't have a huge.
Do you have
supply.
Do you have trades?
We have
Are you
two
selling
trades.
trades?
We have two trades.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
only
trades. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not bringing that many of anything because we're not sure. Because
We don't know how much is actually going to sell.
Yeah, so we're just
Right.
I don't want to have, like a lot, a box in the garage that's full of stuff that never sold or whatever. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have a lot of the first two issues, but after that it gets kind of, we just don't know what to expect really. So we didn't want to go overboard.
Well, that seems like a good idea to have the first couple, and then if you have people that know your stuff, like being able to give them something, or like get on that mailing or that list that lets you order them from you directly after they get back. Like that's pretty reasonable, and that that seems like a good way to go. And then having the trades like that I don't know, it seems really smart to me.
Yeah.
Well, and one of them is, I guess we're also going to sell the issue 23, which I forget we have, which isn't out yet, and then we're also
Early access.
Early access.
Yeah.
And one of the trades is right now only available in Library Pass. So
Early access.
yeah, so we want to put it out, but I was trying to give them a little,
Yeah, just throw up a LA Comic-Con exclusive.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, it's gonna be, we'll have to work on the pitch and all that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, because my pitch used to be a mouthful, and now I just go Matador versus Kaiju, and it's either you're gonna stop or you're not.
Yeah. That's really good. That's definitely something that I still need to work on. And as you may have heard, that I need to work on for my book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Years ago, when I was at the small press area at Comic-Con, and this guy comes by and he's like ordering some, he's kind of like looking at stuff, and I was doing my pitch that I totally had out for whatever I was working on, and he bought one, and I was like, oh great, really really excited. My girlfriend, now wife, is behind me, and she goes, do you know who that was? I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, that was Matt Groening. I'm like, what? So I got a little piece of that Simpsons money myself. Not to brag. But at Comic-Con this year, I was at what's the Abrams Comic Art? I was at the Abrams Comics Art booth. And Matt Groening was there because I guess he's publishing Bongo through them or whatever. It was just him hanging out. I'm like, do I just go up to him and act like he'll remember me? Hey, good to see you again, man. How have you been? What have you been up to?
What'd you think of the book?
What'd you think? Oh, that's it. What'd you think of the book? Oh, I wish I would have thought to say. If I would have thought of that, I would have said that. Just to have that story.
You probably go, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
As you get escorted out.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get too close to the talent. No. Yeah. So, Steve, what do you do besides?
What do
or do you make enough off Monster Matador to support a
Yeah, I'm just rolling in comic book money. Well, right now, I usually do marketing and things like that. Right now, I'm in a stay-at-home dad period.
Oh, that's cool.
So, which will change very soon because I am not rolling in comic book money. Yeah. I think most of us that do this, it's because we love it and we have to, and we just have something to say. So
I would like to say that
Um,
someone's made money on this. It's just not me. You know.
yeah. Well, macaroni made, and John made some of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Well,
at least two people made money off.
Well, I figure the artists and the colorists, they make money off of it, and the letterer,
Yeah,
Trevor,
yeah.
makes money off of it. Yeah. So somebody's making money. It's just not me.
Somebody.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's like the trick. I mean, even on Cigna, like that's the trick. Like I'm not like I haven't. We've set it up where Andrew is getting a page rate and our colorist and Chris Mowry, who used to write letter transformer stuff, he's lettering it. I think he said he didn't want money, but like Chris, we'll pay you. We'll do that. But like it's much easier to write it than it is to do that stuff. Or it's much easier to write it.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't let don't
unless it's about a kaiju matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like obviously then
That's hard.
it reverses. But like the amount of time it takes and everything. But it's still like somebody.
What's funny is when we're doing an issue, well, we've written. Obviously, it is easier to write them than draw them. So we've written a bunch of scripts, and when we're like ready to do one, you look at it and it's like it could be like 5 years old, and you have to like update it and all that. But it's kind of the fun of it, I think. I mean, at this point, it's a lot of fun. It's fun to work with them on a project, and you never know what will happen with it. Always hopeful that something will turn around or whatever. But it's just right now it's kind of a labor of love as much as anything else.
Yeah.
Kind of want to do it, so it's kind of it gives me something to, do, and actually publish. I'm a writer of other kinds of books, but none of which have been published. But this is actually something I can say, yeah, I've done this, and it's in the Library of Congress. At least you feel like you've been there. I've actually proof I've been here. A little bit by doing them. So.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I mean, I don't know. I definitely got burned out at a certain point on things, and it's that part of just of like okay, actually, let me back that up. One of the weirdest parts about any of it is that like almost nobody makes their money just doing comic books. You know what I mean? Like even the really successful people are doing something else while they're doing that. It almost just depends on what other job you want to have or you're able to have, and to what degree you want to like. This isn't quite the right way to say it. But what degree you want to compromise the work that you like doing in order to make money doing it. And I don't mean that actually. I don't mean that as negatively as I make that sound when I say that. But like there is that part of just like it's cool to be there with Andrew and just like we're going to do a comic. It's going to be the comic we want to do, and I can just get mad at Andrew and not get mad at somebody else telling me we can't do it. Like there's and that's like we have a publisher helping us, but it's like they're not getting in the way of things and stuff, and it's as great a deal as you could ever hope for to have that. But like the sales aren't going to be there. This isn't going to come out like whatever Transformers number 13 from Skybound. whatever. We're not going to be selling six figures of sales on it.
No.
We're not going to be making six figures doing it.
The thing I hope is that people will buy it and actually read it.
Yeah.
And it's like when you do a Kickstarter and someone gives you $5 so they can just say they supported you. It's like, okay, you're not really, interested in what I'm actually doing. You're just, kind of, you know what I mean? I want people to actually buy it and want to read it and then give feedback and all that kind of stuff. So it's
I mean, that said, if anybody wants to give me a bunch of money and not read my comic, that's cool.
well, I said $5. If they want to get 5,000 and not read it, that's cool too. But for $5, but another $5, you can own it. Okay, I guess Eric is not joining us.
At this point.
Let's talk really bad things about him.
Well, I wanted to show up for the panel, so we'll see.
Well, we probably need to wrap this up soon
yeah.
anyway, because so Google doesn't cut us off.
So I do want to give a little plug to the panel. It's going to be Under the Radar, and it's called A Look at Indie Comics you might not have heard of. It will be in panel room 406A at 12 o'clock on Sunday, October 6th at Comic-Con, LA Comic-Con. So you have to actually be going to LA Comic-Con to see it. But if you're there, we hope you'll drop by. And we're going to be in small press 304.
Yeah.
So we've tried to put up some stuff on Instagram and Facebook, a little map how to find us. It's one of the things that's kind of weird is that there's really not a good map of, it's like this big on your phone, so we had to blow it up and figure that out. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on the 6th. Thanks for being on the show. Steve, you want to give us a little plug for your Kickstarter?
Sure. We're on Kickstarter right now for the final issue of our latest series, Once Upon Some Monsters in Mexico. We have an exclusive variant cover from Ladrone. It's Matador versus Kaiju. You will love it. Check it out on Kickstarter. And we end on October 10th.
Okay.
Cool. I just backed it, so you should too if you're watching it.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
backed it earlier, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
guys.
sure.
I appreciate
There's
it.
no video proof of that. See me doing it.
Me saying it now is video proof. We actually didn't see you actually back it. We're taking your word. I was typing. I was backing your thing.
Okay, can I get the monitor in there? You can see.
Yeah.
You can see.
Okay. You get credit for backing it.
Before we end, I have another plug.
Okay.
This podcast is brought to you by Ono. Use our affiliate code Marty and Eli to save 10% off your purchase at onoroller.com.
And those are
A silent fidget toy.
all right. So we have a sponsor.
Alright, so if you are watching this on YouTube and you liked this, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and leave a comment below if you have an opinion on LA Comic-Con one way or the other.
Right.
If you don't know what to type, you can type Monster Matador.
All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins. I'm Trevor Hankins.
And you've been on the air with Power Squared.